So now let's count up in hundredths. So here we have 10 hundredths. Now we can write this as 0.10, but we know that 10 hundredths is the same as 1/10. So rather than 0.10, we usually just write 0.1 to show this fraction. Now we have 0.11, and this is how we say decimal numbers. After the decimal point, we say each digit separately. So 0.11, not 0.11. So we can either think of us as having 11 hundredths, or we can imagine having 1/10 and 1/100th. This is why we now have 1 in the tenths place value column and 1 in the hundredths. Let's keep on counting. Now we have 0.15. So we can think of us as having 15 hundredths, or we can think of us as having 1/10 and then 5 extra hundredths. And notice that 15 hundredths is halfway between 1/10 and 2/10. If we had 5 less, we would have 0.1 or 1/10, and if we count on 5 more, we have 20 hundredths, which we know is equivalent to 2/10. So as a decimal, we can write 0.2. Now we have 21 hundredths, so we have 1/100th more than 2/10. But we'll need another 9 hundredths to get to 3/10. So we have 30 hundredths, which is the same as 3/10. So we usually write 0.3 rather than 0.30. And now we have 40 hundredths. So thinking about our place value columns, we have 4 in the tenths place and 0 in the hundredths place. This is because with 40 hundredths, we have a fraction equivalent to exactly 4/10, and we don't have any extra hundredths. So we can write what we have in decimal form as 0.4, because 0.4 just means something exactly the same as 4/10. Now 0.43 means we have a fraction equivalent to 4/10 and 3/100ths. So we saw last lesson how those 4 strips of 10 are equivalent to 4/10, so we have a 4 in our tenths place value column. But now we have 3 extra hundredths as well, so we need a 3 in our hundredths place value column. So now that we understand place value with tenths and hundredths, we can skip through the rest. So now we have 100 hundredths, and we could write this as 1.00 or 1.0, but we would usually just write it as 1. These are just different ways of saying that we have exactly one whole rectangle shaded with nothing extra.